We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 5 o'clock on September 17th. I'm formally calling this meeting to order. We shall start with roll call.
Sean Borowitz. Tyler LaPlante.
Here.
Bridget Sorensen.
Here.
Isaac McKechnie.
Here.
Michael McCurchie. Here. Kimberly Hampton. Rob McGrory.
Here.
Aaron Paymont.
Here.
Kimberly Lee.
Here.
Larry Barbeau.
Here.
Lana Cosley Smith. Kimberly Gravel.
Here.
Austin Lowe's.
Here. We have a quorum. I'd like to entertain a motion to excuse Lana's absence. I have a
Second.
motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? And all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Lana's absence is excused. She's at a boarding school event. All right, so next let's go to the agenda. On today's agenda, we have the following items. We have invocation. We have membership participation. We have the approval of minutes from 9/3 of 24. And we have the following resolutions. We have ACFS Social Work FY24 Budget Mod. We have GLRI Wolf Establish FY24 Budget. We have Planning St. Mary's Coastal Wetland Establish FY25 Budget. We have Monitoring / Restoration St. Mary's Establish FY25 Budget. We have Lake Whitefish Experimental Rearing Establish FY25 Budget. We have Sioux Housekeeping / Maintenance and Third Party FY24 Budget Mods. We have Manistee Admin Optical and Third Party FY24 Budget Mods. We have Sioux Pharmacy FY24 Budget Mod. We have Governmental Elections FY24 Budget Mod. We have approved JKL Fiduciary Committee and Sioux Schools Agreement. We have approved Contractor Selection Marquette Facility Renovation. We have accept Intergovernmental Forest Protection Award. We have approval of Sixth Amendment to Tax Agreement. We have authorized use tribal logos, American Indian Law Handbooks. We have authorized joint venture Tierra Sheboygan Project. We have authorized MOU / MOA for Michigan Native American Building School Project, Boarding School Project, sorry. We have NCAI 2024 Annual Convention Delegates and 2025 dues. We have establishing Grants Department. We have tribal styrofoam ban. We have purchased Narcan dispensers for each unit. We have Kuwaitan Casino smoking ban implementation plan. Is there a motion to accept the agenda? Hold on one second. I forgot to add committee appointments and board concerns. Isaac, you're still motioning?
Motion.
Okay. All right, we have support by Tyler. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those abstaining? Those opposing? Motion carries. Are there any objections to adding the following resolution to the agenda? It is titled Approving Service Agreement with Serve Ice Refrigeration. Okay, hearing no objection, we'll add that resolution last. Okay. All right, so we have an agenda adopted and we have that resolution added. That brings us to invocation. And Mary Beth Lebick is going to be providing that for us.
Thank you, Tyler. Hi, my name is Mary Beth Lebeck. That's my English name. And I'd like to say hello and thank you for the invitation to be part of this meeting tonight and saying the prayer. The prayer I have is actually from the early 2000s, and it is by the Elder Language and Cultural Department in the Sioux. They put out 2 calendars, so this prayer is from there. So after I introduce myself in Native, then the prayer will be what they put together. Miigwech. De benchiged. Begid namashin. Ate magid nin anina tig kwe indishna kaz. Kitchi menacing and donjaba makwajodim. Beamed again. Niwin, Nodanan, Niden, Gitchi Twamashkiki, Nijwaswe, Mashoma Sug. Gitchi Manitou, Mon Peking, Gichigaming, Dash, Gijagong and Dying, Kena, Gitaying, Gidaya. Chimegwech, Gijemnero, Kena Gago, Gamishiang, Minwa, Ingoding, Gijagat, Gisis, Gibinabed, Chimegwech, Gamishiang, Yusa, Bimadzawin. Widok Wishinang, Namayang, Gawek, Je, Bimosiang, Nahal, Megwech.
Thank you for doing that for us. We really appreciate it. So the next item that we're on is membership participation. So everyone here as tribal citizens has the right to address the board of directors. However, we do so with some rules. We give you guys the opportunity to do so at this meeting. Everyone's entitled to 5 minutes. However, there's rules associated with it. No yelling, no swearing, no singling out board members, no attacking, things like that. If you guys have a genuine question about what's going on with the tribe. Yep, Mary? Yes. So you have the forms. If you guys want to address the board, and Mary's the person to talk to, we typically don't answer the questions because sometimes it takes time to gather the answers, and we got to check with specialized staff. So the way we do things now, we just have one of our member liaisons contact you guys after we get the answers. So we can start with Greg Pond. If you want to come up the podium and address us.
There we go. I don't need a microphone. Correct, I know. Anyhow, I'm here to, I see that you got the smoking ban for all the casinos on your agenda here, and I'm for that. The employees are for that. I've talked with quite a few of them. I go in there momentarily, occasionally. The smoke is horrible. And plus your employees are sucking that smoke, and it's time to ban it. If they want to have a little room wherever, just do that. They have to need a slot machine to where they can go smoke their cigarette, do that. But the employee should not have to have any cigarettes, secondhand smoke. So anyhow, and then also I like to address about our elders tokens. We get $5. That has never been increased in years. So I'd appreciate it if you'd look into upping that somewhat. And then my last item here is that building next to the casino, that Lumi building, that's on the wrong side of the building. Whoever put that on that side of the building and okayed it on the wrong side of the casino, I don't know why it was put there. It should have been on the other side, but that's here nor there. So thanks for coming down and thanks for what all you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next up, Cindy Crowley.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crowley. I live in Marquette. I'm a member of the Unit 5. I'm secretary for the Unit 5 Elder Community Board. I'm here to thank you, this board, for making it possible for us to have a community center in Marquette. We so appreciate having a place to meet. The building is going to make it possible for us to become a community that can promote a proud feeling of being Native American. It will allow us to find each other, to help us support each other. I thank you, this board, for that. As you know, the building did not come move-in ready. All the bids came in higher than expected. I'm hoping that this board will find a way for us, for this building to be improved and meet code. With only one unit director, the funds we receive are more limited. So I'm hoping you can find a way to make this project completed. Again, I thank you for a place for us to meet, a vision that you have made come true for us to gather so we are not so segregated. We are only as strong as our weakest link, and you just made a weak link stronger. Thank you, Make-A-Witch.
You guys can clap. Go ahead. Let's give a round of applause to Greg. It's for Greg. All right. So the last form we have is from Vicki Walden. You want to come up?
Hi, I'm Vicki Carr Walden. Tonight, it's kind of a different subject. Tonight, it's something that's never been discussed before. I'm going to talk about my son, Joshua Walden, and how he has been able to impact all of our lives as we've known it and all of our future generations. Joshua was born on February 22nd, 1984 in Sacramento, California. His grandparents were John Dayton, my father, and Betty Carr. I brought him home in July of 1984. It was time for him to know his ancestors here, and I needed the village to raise the child with me. And that was so very true. And the village is still there for him. So we moved to the reservation on October 1984. We were one of the very first ones that got a house there. And we lived there for a long, long time. And he was raised with going to Indian Ed and doing all the things that I thought that he should learn. And all of our relatives and friends also. He met a very nice lady from Ishpeming, and they were married 20 years ago. He's not here with us today. He was going to call in. He's celebrating his anniversary with his wife today. They have 2 wonderful children. His oldest is 22, and the youngest is 19. He entered the Air Force in 2005, and that is where the difference of everybody's lives is going to begin. He is Technical Sergeant Joshua Walden, USAF, Cyberspace Ops Controller, JBSA, Lackland, Joint Base, San Antonio. On June, and life went along, and he lived his life just like every other military member. He got his head shaved and wore the uniform and traveled and did a very, very proud job for our country. And for that, I am very, very thankful for. So on June 21st last year, at about 5 o'clock, I was at a very good friend's house, and we were having dinner, and I get a text from him. So I'm thinking of fighting the military. Might need your help. What the hell, Josh? That was exactly what I said out loud. Texted him back and said, I'll call you later. I'm at dinner at the Steinoff's house. So I did. Turned out that it was time for him to embrace his cultural background and who he believed who he should be and how he was raised. And so my part of it was to help him do paperwork. I've been talking to him. He'll send me all of this correspondence that I'm going to talk about tonight so that I can share that with everybody. I'll make copies or I'll email all of that stuff to whoever wants it. So what it was nobody had ever taken on with the military what it was like to be a true warrior with the military. And part of that is your hair plays a lot of that for our men. They wear it in a braid, and it's usually only cut under severe distress or somebody's passing or whatever moves that person. And so I wound up helping him round up people to help him. He said that I was the one that could help because he felt like I sat very well with our tribe here, And I was the elder chairperson for Munising here, and I knew a lot of our family and friends that were Native American and that could help us with that. And so he helped me write, and we did. And again, I will provide all those writings to you if you'd like that. So people that wrote for him in support of him doing this with the military was Sis Levesque, Mary Beth Levesque, Chris Levesque, Mel Dunn. Mel Dunn was just amazing. He even let us use his picture of what that would look like. And then Phil Martin, Dave Martin, and Deb McNeil. She has since passed away. So part of what moved me greatly was something that Joshua wrote during that time. On February 14th, 2024, at 1:30 p.m., he writes, this is part of a letter that he wrote to Captain Teachin. Throughout my 18-year career, the sole instance in which another person cut my hair was during basic training, a situation where I had no choice in the matter. Aside from that, I have been the only one to cut my hair in alignment with culture and religious convictions. Each occasion necessitating such an action has been a profound and emotional experience for me, underscoring the reason I have never permitted another to cut my hair. And so, yes, and I'll be glad to, yes, and that. And so through the whole thing, and our chairman and our vice chairman, when they were in Washington, D.C. in March, and that raised that subject. And so in May, I got the word from him that it has been passed. So he does have the religious exemption. And I know I'm running on time, but here's the most amazing thing. It now becomes our part of it. We need, that door has been open, and it can never be closed ever again. It comes under the religious exemption. And so before, it's a federally recognized ethnicity. Before the guys either come, yep, sorry, and that, yep, before they even go to the military, they can use the recruiter to help them do the paperwork. And if they're already in the military, they are able to do the paperwork. Again, that door will never be closed. So when you see that military guy that has the long braid, you know the beginning to this whole story.
Very good, Vicki. You and your family should be very happy and very proud.
I am beyond
Yeah.
proud.
He's growing it out. Okay. Yeah, we'll pass them along. We appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story and your son's story. Yes. So that concludes all the membership participation forms that we have, so we'll move on in the meeting to minutes. I would like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes from 9/3 of 24. Motion by Isaac. Support. Those in support by Tyler. Any discussion? All right, those in support signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, so that moves us to resolutions. The first one is ACFS Social Work FY24 Budget Mod. And for the board and the audience's information, our secretary, Kimberly Hampton, she's attending an NIH meeting right now. She's traveling. However, when she gets to her hotel, she'll be able to resume her secretary duties, such as reading the resolution. So until then, Tyler will be reading them. So if you could, Tyler.
Yep. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to the social work budget for an increase in tribal support of $19,891.51. Support.
Isaac, support by Tyler. Juanita, could you explain this resolution first, please?
Good evening, everyone. Juanita Bai, ACFS Division Director.
Okay, thank you. Any board discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote on it. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you. The next resolution is GLRI Wolf, establish FY24 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of FY 2024 budget for GLRI Wolf with federal BIA monies of $33,774.26, no effect on tribal support.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Tyler. Brad, could you explain this resolution first, please?
Yes, this is the creation of a 2024 budget with Great Lakes Restoration Initiative funds to continue our work with wolves and with a focus on pre and post fire assessments on the Hiawatha National Forest.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion from the board on this resolution? Okay, hearing none. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Brad. The next resolution is planning St. Mary's Coastal Wetland Establish FY25 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of a FY 25 budget for planning St. Mary's coastal wetland with Federal National Fish and Wildlife Foundation monies of $100,045.34, no effect on tribal support. Support.
Motion by Isaac, support by Tyler. Dr. Clark, could you explain this resolution for us, please?
Buju Robin Clark, Natural Resource Division, or AG, and a Wendy Young. So this resolution establishes a second-year budget to finish up and close out this NIFWIF funding, this project, where the tribe led a multi-agency planning effort to identify and then prioritize coastal wetlands along the St. Mary's River for protection and restoration.
Very good, thank you. Any board discussion? So the funds in this resolution, it will be used to pluck out invasive species such as cattails, plant wild rice, which we just did in Munising. Do you know how many pounds we've planted, just so we can announce it for everybody?
So actually, I think Brad Sillett is going to be presenting on the GLRI coastal one.
Okay.
But this one is more, it's actually working with the Consortium for Cooperative Ecological Resilience, the Tribal Research Institute, and working with state, federal, other land managers on that, like a regional plan.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, this one will be roll call due to the amount.
Larry Barbeau.
Yes.
Isaac McKechnie. Yes. Sean Borowitz.
Yes.
Michael McCurchy.
Yes.
Rob McGrory.
Yes.
Bridget Sorensen.
Yes.
Tyler LaPlante.
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
Kimberly Lee.
Yes.
Aaron Paymont.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. The next resolution is monitoring / restoration St. Mary's establish FY25 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 25 budget for monitoring restoration in the St. Mary's River with federal BIA revenue monies of $61,302.43, no effect on tribal support. Support.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Tyler. Brad, could you explain this resolution, please?
Yes, this is the creation of a 2025 budget for restoration and removal of invasive species in the St. Mary's River. To get to your question, Chairman, we just finished up planting 1,300 pounds of wild rice seed in the St. Mary's River in 3 locations, including Munising Bay. We expanded the Munising Bay plot from, I believe, 5 acres to 10 acres this year of planted area, and this will continue that work in the St. Mary's River.
Okay, awesome. And just to repeat that, 1,300 pounds of wild rice planted this year, so hell of a job. Isaac?
Hey Brad, are we looking at Shingle Bay since we own that frontage now?
Yes, Shingle Bay was one of the locations that we planted 250 pounds of seed this year.
Awesome, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Kimberly Lee.
Yes.
Isaac McKechnie.
Yes.
Sean Borowitz.
Yes.
Michael McCurchy.
Yes.
Rob McGrory,
Yes.
Bridget Sorensen,
Yes.
Tyler LaPlante,
Yes.
Larry Barview,
Yes.
Aaron Paymont,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next resolution is Lake Whitefish Experimental Rearing, establish FY25 budget.
Be resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of FY25 budget for Lake Whitefish Experimental Rearing with federal BIA monies of $40,499.49, no effect on tribal support.
Okay, motion by Kim Gravel, support by Isaac. Who is covering this one? Jack is, right? Jack, could you cover this for us, please? No? You want to cover it for us, Robin? All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so this, wait, is he on there? Or?
So Jack or Dr. Clark? I need one of you guys to cover this resolution. You on there, Jack?
I can jump in.
We can't hear you, Jack. Okay, go ahead if you could.
All right, so this resolution establishes a budget to pick up old funding to support the whitefish rearing program within the fisheries program. Really, this is developing methods for successful rearing of whitefish in order to support and restore populations locally across the 1836. But the program raised 45,000 young whitefish this year, and so incrementally is increasing as the staff are able to learn from and improve and adapt their methods.
Okay, thank you. Isaac?
Hey, just so the audience knows, we have two places that we raise whitefish. One's Nuns Creek, right?
Yep.
And the pond at Odenang where our residents are. I believe we are one of the only tribes across the country.
Two tribes in the state of Michigan. I'm not sure the entire country, but I mean, it's
gotta
something to be
real
incredibly
close.
proud
Yeah.
of.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this is experimental and cutting edge, and a lot of tribes aren't, well, only one other tribe to my knowledge is doing this, so,
Correct.
yeah, absolutely. Anyone else? Okay, all those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Okay. All right. Kim, I see you on right now. Are you ready to read your resolutions?
I am not.
Okay. Well, just speak up when you're ready and you have all your stuff in front of you, okay? All right. All right, so the next resolution is Sioux housekeeping / maintenance and third-party FY24 budget modifications.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves FY24 budget modification to Sault Ste. Marie housekeeping maintenance for a decrease in other revenue monies of $65,005.73 and an increase in third-party revenue monies of $75,481. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to third-party revenue, increasing the amount to the Sault Ste. Marie housekeeping maintenance, $75,481.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Kim Gravel. Joel, could you cover this resolution for us, please? Okay, thank you, Joel. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, roll call voting, please.
Bridget Sorensen,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Tyler LaPlante,
Yes.
Isaac McKechnie,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee,
Yes.
Michael McCurchy,
Yes.
Sean Borowitz,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Rob McGrory,
Yes.
Aaron Paymont,
Yes.
and Larry Barview.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. The next resolution is Manistique Admin, Optical, and Third-Party FY24 Budget Mods.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves FY24 budget modification to Manistique Administration for a decrease in third-party revenue monies of $15,871.79. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves FY24 budget modification to Manistique Optical for an increase in third-party revenue monies of $15,871.79. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves FY24 budget modification to third-party revenue reallocating $15,871.79 from Manistique Administration to Optical. Support.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Tyler. Nicole, could you cover this for us, please? Explain what it is and what it does.
Yes, I am Nicole Fuzian, Rural Health Program Manager. The purpose of this budget modification is to reallocate third-party funds from the Manistique administrative budget to the optical budget to allow for the payment of an Oculus retinal camera for the optical department that will allow for retinal imaging that will help discover and treat ocular pathology.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right, the next resolution is Sioux Pharmacy FY24 budget modification.
Be it
I
resolved.
can read it if you want.
Go for it.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to Sault Ste. Marie Pharmacy for a reallocation of expenses and a change to the personnel sheet, no effect on travel support.
Okay,
Support.
motion by Isaac, support by Tyler. Carrie, could you cover this resolution, please?
Sure. Carrie Fortin, Clinic Manager of the Sioux Tribe Health Center. Basically, we would like to respectfully ask the Board of Directors to add a staff pharmacist to the Sioux Tribe Pharmacy. This is due to an increased volume of prescriptions. We currently process 367 prescriptions per day on average. We also need additional coverage for sick, vacation, and other clinical duties. We are currently paying a local pharmacist and have not filled the vacant part-time pharmacist position. There will be a savings to the budget to cover this expense. No effect on travel support.
Okay, appreciate it. Any board discussion? Okay, hearing none. Those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Okay, the next resolution is Governmental Elections FY24 Budget Mod.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to the elections budget for increase in travel support, $15,319.41.
Motion by Isaac,
Support.
support by Tyler. Lana, would you like to explain this resolution?
Okay, so this is to put all actual expenses in the proper line items in the budget. When we did the budget for this last year, we didn't know what the structure of the election would be for 2024. We had used consultants for the two referendums at the end of last year, so we put all the money in the consulting line. And then when the board put the election commission in place in January of this year, the majority of them came from the west end of the UP, so we also did not have travel budgeted in the 2024 budget. So this fixes all of that, puts everything in the right lines, and allows enough funding. The extra $15,000 will get the commission through to the end of the year.
Thank you. Any board discussion on this? Good job. Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. The next resolution is approve JKL fiduciary, com and Sioux Schools agreement. Okay, motion by Kim Gravel, support by Isaac. Stephanie, could you cover this resolution for us, please?
This agreement is entered for education and related services to be provided by our Sault Ste. Marie Area Public School District to support our tribal students at Malcolm High School. Services rendered include those identified by both JKL and Sioux schools, and the contract date is July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Any board discussion? Isaac?
Hey, Steph, this is for our children from 9th grade to 12th, right?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure the audience knew that.
Correct, yep.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Actually, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
it's 9 and 10, it's not 11 and 12.
Okay. All right, so it's 9 and 10. All right, roll call vote, please.
Michael McCurchy.
Yes.
Kimberly Lee.
Yes.
Aaron Paymont.
No.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
Rob McGrory.
Yes.
Oops, she's not here. Kimberly Hampton.
Yes.
Bridget Sorensen.
Yes.
Tyler LaPlante.
Yes.
Sean Borowitz.
Yes.
Isaac McKechnie.
Yes.
Larry Barbeau.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Steph. The next resolution is approve contractor selection, Marquette facility renovation.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby approves the recommended contractor, all contracting to conduct the Phase 1 renovation of the Marquette Health Center as specified in design. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors authorizes the tribal chairman or his designee to execute this agreement and take such other steps as may be deemed necessary.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Tyler, support by Isaac. Joel, could you cover this resolution for us, please?
Well, I'm sure can. Essentially, this is to move the project forward. We need the board's approval on the recommended contractor, and then following that, of the approved contractor, we would then negotiate the contractual relationship that we would have for the Phase 1 of this new project out in Marquette. Funding source for here is an obligation from the CRISA, which is the COVID cost center, of approximately $900,000. And the additional revenue will come from third-party revenue, possibly the revenue that we converted from COVID to third-party.
Okay, thanks, Joel. We will do a board discussion. Bridget, then Isaac.
I noticed in the RAF that purchasing is recommending the contractor, and I noticed that it's, 30-some thousand between the difference in that contractor and a native company. Obviously, it must not be Sioux Tribe, it's just native, but I just wondered with the native status, that is accurate, or, I guess when we can, it would be nice to go with native people, but that's not the recommendation, so just a question.
Joel, could you speak on that, please?
Yeah, sure. Well,
He's gonna
I
do
think the native preference applies to this. I think they got the 1 or 2% of the, as the procurement policy allows for native-owned businesses. So they did get I guess, an advantage as being a native-owned business. So I just followed the policy as written for purchasing.
Okay, Aaron? I'm sorry, Isaac, then Aaron?
Hey, Tyler, I just want to take a moment to thank you for sticking your head out there for your Unit 5 members. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Aaron, then Tyler.
Yeah, so I think that our percentage preference for native contractors should be higher. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the low bid of the native contractor.
Okay, so there's a motion to amend to accept the native company. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and support. We'll have a board discussion on that. Anyone want to speak on it? Tyler?
I am just curious how this will affect the process if notices went out already. I have no problem with it, because I actually asked the same question internally of a few people, but. Bob, can anybody explain this to me?
Use your microphone though, Bob.
Yes, we did send out the denial letters based on the recommendation from purchasing in order to get the 5-day contest period started. And it was purchasing's recommendation to go ahead and take the lower vendor, but we could try and unwind the process. The issue is going to be that we have a real tight window here on the funding source and making sure we get the work started before the end of the year, September 30th being the deadline for it. We could go ahead and do that, I mean, and see where we get to. I don't have a problem doing that. I mean, purchasing's recommendation is to go ahead and recommend the low bidder. So.
Okay, so Aaron, did you want to speak on this again?
Well, Ian, I still have the floor, because I was just asking that specific question. I had a follow-up to that question. So with that, so it is acceptable that we can do this?
Yes, we're not required to take the lowest bidder. It's purchasing's default that they take the lowest bidder wherever possible.
So if
That's
we
their
pass
recommendation.
this, if we pass this, all we would need to do is go into contract with this contractor before September 30th.
Right, and we'd have to send out the denial letter to the other party who we have not sent one to yet. And that would start a 5-day window then for the contest.
But would it if the board already passed the funding for this contractor?
I don't understand.
We're about to pass the funding
Right.
for the new construction company.
Right, but under the policy, they have the right, they have 5 days to contest if they wanted to. I'm just saying that the board can do what they want to do here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, Aaron?
Yeah, the staff are following the policy. But we reserve the right and have the privilege to select a native contractor. If the range of values between the native contractor low bid and the low bid were huge, I would make the recommendation. But, our own tribal contractors and other native contractors, and we have that right to do that as a tribe.
Okay, Isaac and then Rob.
I'm curious why we have a policy in place then. That prevents, this board taking control of those RFP processes, right? The next bid that comes in, if they're 5% or 15% higher, are we going to approve it just because we know the person? I mean, we have a process in place and let the process play its way out. We don't have the authority to change that process. If we want to change that process, then we should do it accordingly. We shouldn't just do it in a board meeting. I don't even know what percentage this person would be getting then. Does anybody here know what percentage they're getting now? And is that going to be for all Native American contractors, a larger percentage?
Okay, Rob?
I agree with Isaac, and I also disagree with Isaac. So we do have the ability to do that at this table. But I do also believe that we should have a policy in place to determine when we do it. I'm okay with, and I prefer to fit native-owned companies within a certain percentage, but I think we need to have a further discussion of what that percentage is and when it happens. That way we're not deciding by our own discretion at this table. But we do have the ability to do it here, and I will support it here. But going forward, I would like a workshop where we could set policy and say, this is the range of when it does happen, and this is when it doesn't happen. I would much rather prefer that than us to be deciding
Okay, I don't see any more hands. Did I miss anybody? Tyler, go ahead.
So with this amendment, just so everyone's aware, I actually do prefer native vendors over, I just did the math quick, it's 1.7% difference. However, I'm going to abstain from this vote, being that he was my neighbor growing up. So I cannot vote on changing the contractor because he was my neighbor.
All right, so we're gonna do roll call vote on this. This is just a motion to amend it, so this would change if it passes to where the contract would go from the lowest bidder to the native owned company. So roll call, please.
Kimberly Gravel,
No.
Aaron Paymont,
Yes.
Sean Borowitz,
No.
Larry Barbeau,
Yes.
Rob McGrory,
Yes.
Isaac McKechnie,
No.
Kimberly Hampton,
No.
Michael McCurchy,
No.
Tyler LaPlante,
Abstain?
Bridget Sorensen,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee.
Yes.
5 yeses, 5 noes, and 1 abstention. It's a tie.
Yes. I feel like I should be like a Roman emperor, be like that, one way or the other, right? So,
John McKay.
right, right. All right, so we'll move on to the next resolution, which, oh, my bad, guys, my bad. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So that was just the motion to amend. All right, so now we're back on the main motion. So any further discussion on this, guys? Yeah, pass to amend. Yep. Yep. So roll call, please, on the final thing.
Sean,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Isaac,
No.
Michael,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. It's a big deal, you guys. Yeah. So what this will do, it will renovate that space so you guys will have a health center in Marquette, the biggest city in the Upper Peninsula. You guys deserve that. So it's going to be a big deal for you guys. So congrats. Yep.
Good job, Tyler.
Hey, good job, Tyler. All right, so the next resolution is accept Intergovernmental Forest Protection Award.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes the Natural Resources Division to accept this tribal forest protection act. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes and approves the chairman of the tribe or their designee to execute all documents, contracts, and subcontracts as may be necessary and appropriate to carry out the terms, conditions, and intent of this resolution.
Okay, motion by Kim Gravel. Support by Isaac. Dr. Clark, could you cover this, please?
All right, so this resolution will allow the tribe to accept this implementation funding, $1.25 million, to be spent over a period of 5 years through a 638 agreement that will allow the Sioux Tribe Natural Resource Division, the Cooperative Consortium for Cooperative Ecological Resilience, and then partners to continue our work protecting hemiboreal forest communities on the Hiawatha National Forest and then out across the 1836.
Very good. Any discussion from the board? So I feel like this is a really good meeting to highlight all the good work the Natural Resource Department's doing. So obviously the Hiawatha National Forest is out there. How many acres is that total when you combine the eastern and the western ends? 846,000. So let's just round up to 1 million acres. What a lot of people don't realize is that we co-manage that forest with the U.S. Forest Service. So, I mean, we're going to be participating in controlled burns, do all that kind of stuff. So this funding will help us carry out those efforts. So roll call, please.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next resolution is approval of Sixth Amendment to tax agreement.
Now therefore be resolved, Board of Directors hereby authorizes the tribal chairman or his designee to execute the Sixth Amendment to the tax agreement between the tribe and the state of Michigan.
Okay, motion by Isaac. Support by Kim Gravel. Ryan, could you explain this resolution, how it impacts the tribe?
Yeah, so this is the Sixth Amendment to the tax agreement. There are 5 changes that are being proposed, and they were proposed by the tribes collectively, and the state agreed to them. The first is, right now, we have a threshold for sales and use tax sharing of revenue when it's a sale on tribal land, where we get 2/3 of that tax for the tribe, and 1/3 goes to the state until we reach $5 million in gross sales. And then it goes 50% to the tribe, 50% to the state. That threshold is being increased to $8 million. So that's $3 million more dollars before we have to share that tax revenue 50-50 with the tribe. So it's more money in the tribe's pocket. That's the first change. The second change is, right now there's no time limit on what's considered a recapture tax. So if a tribal member who's a resident in the tax agreement area transfers, say, a car to a non-resident tribal member, family member, or friend, they may owe tax on that. If the tax is not paid, the state has no statute of limitations on when they could go after them in their tax return. Now, in this amendment, there would be a 5-year limit for the state trying to recoup any lost tax revenue for vehicles that are transferred or sold, and then 10 years for modular and mobile homes. It creates a time limit that was absent in the previous tax agreement. The third change is increases a partial exemption for what's called a post-sale transfer. For now, if we are in the tax agreement area, we transfer a vehicle to a friend a tribal member, who is not in the tax agreement area, they might owe a tax if the sale or the retail dollar value, as the agreement calls it, is above a certain threshold. Right now, the threshold for vehicles is 2,000, and it's being increased to 3,200 for off-road vehicles, RVs, and mobile homes. The current threshold is $1,000, and it's being increased to $1,600. So there's a higher retail value, dollar value before members may be subject to a state tax. And that would go hand in hand with the state of Michigan trying to go back and recoup that tax under the new timelines that we talked about previously. The fourth one would be the expansion of the vehicle tax exemption for tribes when the tribe itself wants to purchase a vehicle for governmental use. Right now, the tribe can be tax exempt if they purchase the whole transaction. The purchase and sale happens in tribal land or trust land. That's being changed for if the tribe itself as government goes and buys a vehicle anywhere in the state of Michigan, then that vehicle purchase will be tax exempt as long as that vehicle is being purchased for use in governmental functions of the tribe. That's a good change for the tribe. The final change is creating an index of dollar amounts to automatically increase all these thresholds that we just talked about for inflation without having the parties to go back and renegotiate changes. The Michigan Department of Treasury will annually publish their index of how they got to the new threshold. If it's lower, then the default is to keep it at the higher amount. But most of the time the indexes will be higher. There's always a possibility that the parties can ask for an agreed change to the dollar amount, but this would limit some of the ongoing back and forth and negotiations between the tribe and the state to just automatically increase those thresholds as inflation continues to rise. And those are the 5 changes to this current tax agreement amendment.
Okay, I appreciate it, Ryan. Good work with this as well. Any board discussion on this resolution? Aaron?
So my question is, on the statute of limitations, is that, this is going to be a weird question, but because other non-Indians don't have other tax laws, it seems like an awful long time to extend the statute of limitations to.
Actually, Director of Payment, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to check on like how long the IRS could come back to you for back taxes. It's a pretty long statute for the IRS. I don't know the exact number. That being said, before or currently, there is no limit at all on the state of Michigan's ability to try and recoup that tax. So at least now there are limits in place. Whether they're still too high or out of line with like federal tax law or other state tax law, I don't have that answer right now.
Because I'm all about honoring the tax agreement, and I'm all about prosecuting our own bad actors that violate that, like claiming to be in a certain area and not actually being in that area. But I'm also not really interested in passing a statute of limitations that might be like 3 times longer than outside of the tribe. I think it's 3 years, but I mean I don't know.
Yeah, you might be right. That might be 3 years. Right now, whether it's in line with other laws or not, right now the tax agreement has no limit on it, so that there is no agreed limit, and the state could, in theory, even 15 years later, right now, under the current scheme, come back and try to recapture that tax revenue that they might think they lost out on. So at least this puts in place a limit that isn't currently there.
And Mr. Chairman, the other question that I have is, it's not, well, it's related, but it's not what's on the table today, is in the past, some tribes have wanted to renegotiate the tax agreement to expand the covered area. And we always act, I mean, we basically just have this defeatist approach that we can't even ask. But I think we got basically 2 years on this governor left. If we have a chance, now's the time to start talking about it. So like for next year, if we could start working on getting the tax agreement areas expanded. If you know our history, it was done pretty arbitrary to benefit a couple of people, and we left out many more people in our service area than we benefited. So if we can think about that in preparation for next year's negotiation, I would appreciate it.
I agree. I think we should be aggressive as well, so I'm on board. Anyone else? Okay, we shall vote then. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Ryan. The next resolution is authorize use tribal logos, American Indian Law handbooks.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby grants a limited, non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free, transferable license to the tribal, state, federal forum for the use of the tribe's logos, seals, pictures, for the limited purpose of use of the American Indian Law handbooks. Be it further resolved that this license shall expire 10 years from the date of this resolution, understanding that the tribal, state, federal forum may request an extension in the future if it so desires.
Okay, thank you.
Motion.
Motion by Tyler. There's second. All right, support by Kimberly Gravel. Tracy, before I call on the board, if you could cover this for us, please.
Sure. Tracy Kwan, Board Administrator. This resolution will allow the tribal, state, judicial, federal forum the use of our tribe's logos in their publications of American Indian Law handbooks, which will then be distributed to all Michigan law schools.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from the board? We can start with Tyler.
So I'll motion to amend this resolution to what we discussed in the workshop today, and it's been redlined for us. The end of the first, now therefore be it resolved to be added, to be used in a non-disparaging manner. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby grants the authority to the legal department to approve any additional use of the tribe's intellectual property for the tribal, state, federal forum not granted in this resolution. And then change be it further to be it finally resolved. And then addition of the exemplar of a logo.
All right, so Tyler's making a motion to amend, and this was discussed in the workshop, and it's being recommended by our legal department. Is there a second? All right, second by Larry Barbeau. Any discussion on the motion to amend? Okay, we'll do roll call on the amendment.
Larry,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Kimberly Lee?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
All right,
Unanimous.
thank you. The motion to amend carries. Now we're back on the main motion. Discussion, Tyler?
I'm just gonna throw this out here again. So this is what Kim started a few months ago by asking me to sponsor the calendar for $100. We are working on doing a more broad language policy to allow us to do this not at the board table, but until that policy passes and changes it to legal oversight, we have to approve every time we authorize our logo to be used.
Yeah, that's
Every
correct.
Oh, you got yours already? Yeah, yours passed already.
Yeah, you're taken care of. All right, so,
You didn't get the email?
I emailed her too.
Oh.
Actually, Jennifer Delbert should have been
okay.
emailing her.
Anyone else from the board? Going once, going twice? All right, let's vote. All those in support signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Aye, whatever. All right, those opposed?
Tricked us.
Tricked you that time, yes. All right, those abstaining? All right, motion carries.
Simon said.
Simon says.
I know.
I know it, right? All right, so the next resolution is authorize joint venture Tierra Sheboygan project.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sioux St. Louis Tribe, Chippewa Indians, hereby authorizes the tribal chairman or his designee to execute all documents and agreements with Tierra Realty Trust LLC for the Tierra Sheboygan project.
Okay, motion by Isaac,
Support?
support by Tyler. Danny, could you fill us in on what this project is?
Yes, this is a housing development project located in Sheboygan. It's for a 52-unit development. We would take a small percentage of ownership in this project. We would also be a development partner through this project, receiving 10% of the development fees, and 11 of these units will be set aside for tribal members. These are development projects we have already been involved in. One at Garfield, we have another one. Issuing loss, we are a partner on that is being submitted in October. So this is something we've done. It brings together initiative funding, tax credits, and private funding. These are good projects, and I don't take any questions on them.
Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, so for the memberships information, Clarence Hudak actually brought this to our attention. He's the member liaison out of St. Ignace. Clarence lives in Sheboygan, and the developer on this project was working with the city manager, and the city manager knew Clarence and reached out to him. So Clarence, I appreciate you doing this for us. And broader, what these projects are, developers work with tax credits to try to build these apartment complexes at a cost-effective price. The applications are pretty competitive, so they're based on a point system. And when you have a nonprofit partner, which a tribe can be, you get points on your application. So developers are seeking tribes such as us to partner on these projects. It doesn't cost a cent, and when the projects are done, we get a percentage of the developer fee, which is money that the developer receives to build these projects, and a certain amount of units are reserved just to Sioux Tribe members. So if this project is selected, 11 units would go to Sioux Tribe members, and a certain percentage of the development fee, which we expect would be 6 figures, would be given to the Sioux Tribe. No liability, no cost. We're going to start doing this more often. So good job, Clarence. Appreciate it. We will vote on this, and we'll do it through this way. Those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right, those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next resolution is authorize MOU/MOA for Michigan Native American Boarding School Project.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sioux St. Louis Tribe, Chippewa Indians, hereby authorizes the tribal chairman or his designee to execute any and all documents to enter into an MOU/MOA for the Michigan Native American Boarding School Project of the state of Michigan.
Okay, motion by Isaac. Support by Larry. Tyler, would you like to explain what this is? Or Aaron? Tyler or Aaron?
All right.
They're fighting over who's going
Yeah.
to speak about it.
This MOA ultimately just authorizes the Sioux tribe to be involved in the boarding school study for the state of Michigan. This is a preliminary study that the state of Michigan is conducting to determine their responsibility or their role in the boarding school era in the state of Michigan specifically. What this does, so tribal sovereignty is extremely important to everyone. The data collection is happening, but what this does is allows us to attach Sioux tribe name to anybody that's been identified in the research so that that data could be specific to the tribe. If the Sioux tribe does not opt in, the data will still be aggregated, but the tribe will not be identified as a participant.
Okay, perfect. Any discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, we shall vote. All those in support signify by saying aye.
We have to abstain.
Those opposed? Those abstaining?
Abstain.
All right, motion carries. All right, Tyler and Aaron abstained. All right, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next resolution is NCAI 2024 Annual Convention Delegates and 2025 dues.
Are there any objections to waiving the?
Any objections to waiving the reading? Okay, no objections. Is there a motion?
Motion.
All right, is there support? All right, so the motion is made by Tyler, it's supported by Kim. So I sponsored this. So basically what this does is it pays our bills to NCAI for this following year. And what it does is it also lists the delegates that can represent the Sioux tribe, and everyone on the board is listed as a potential delegate. So any discussion? All right, hearing none, let's vote. All those in support signify by saying, yeah.
Austin,
Yep.
sorry, just a question.
Yep.
So, I think this may be that, Aaron Payment would probably know this for sure, but aren't we at the maximum votes with that 180? Because I just wondered with our change in membership with open enrollment, if we do get more votes or if we're at max right now.
I think we can double check that though, because if we are higher, we need to get a higher vote.
Okay, let's look into that. Yep, let's look into that. That's a good question, Bridget. So, anyone else? All right, let's vote. Those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. We'll check with our legislative director, Mike McCoy, on that question. We'll have him dig into it. The next resolution is establishing grants department.
Waive reading.
Any objection to the reading being waived, guys? Okay, so hearing no objection, the reading will be waived. Is there a motion?
I'm motioning.
All right, so motion by Tyler, support by Kim. Tyler, would you like to speak on it first, since you
I was
sponsored
going to
it?
motion to table,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I'll do this and then I'll also do the table, but
Okay.
we had a really good discussion earlier today on this. I brought this, I've been working with some other board members behind the scenes. After our last meeting where housing had reported to us, and learning that there is a multitude of funding being left on the table, it is extremely important that we focus on establishing a grants department solely responsible for basically just churning out paperwork and grants nonstop. All year round. After our discussion earlier today, I have no problem putting it on a hold or a slowdown until we can actually determine where the proper place to store that department is and who would be responsible for it. But that by no means that I would put this on the wayside. I think there is more than enough support on this board, but I'd prefer to do the responsible thing and make sure that we're putting it in the right place. But this will be brought back, and I am motioning to table to an immediate workshop to discuss this thoroughly with all of our staff and have it on the board agenda to follow up based on the recommendations from that workshop.
Okay, so we have a motion to table. All right, supported by Bridget. Roll call on that, please.
It was Kim.
That's
Oh,
okay.
Kim.
Kim Hampton? Hang on. Okay, Kimberly Lee.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Sean.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Larry,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel.
Okay, motion carries and that resolution is tabled. The next resolution is tribal styrofoam ban.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sioux City Tribe of Chippewa Indian hereby authorizes that effective January 1st, 2025, the tribe will no longer use styrofoam products such as one-time use cups, dishes, and takeout containers. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes that this resolution will have no impact on the use of styrofoam products for medical purposes or packaging for products that are purchased.
Okay, thank you.
Motion.
Motion by Tyler, support by Isaac. Who wants to speak first?
I can go.
Okay,
So
go ahead, Tyler.
I had reached out to, again, a couple of board members regarding the styrofoam ban. I was here for an elder meeting, and they brought me into this closet that was full of styrofoam. We all know that we don't have recycling for it here. And it's harmful not only to the environment, but to our immediate health, especially when you put warm, hot liquids into it. So, I reached out to a few board members and I was just like, hey, do you guys see styrofoam in your community? And they said yes, and they agreed to throwing this on the agenda, and hopefully we can ban styrofoam. New products, alternatives are really not that much more expensive than styrofoam, much safer for the environment and humans alike. And also, this is following up on Rob's sponsored agenda of the more than human relatives that we had passed earlier this year as well. We have to be mindful of that moving forward, and I know Rob has more to say.
Okay, Rob, then Aaron.
I was just gonna say a lot of the same stuff as Tyler did, and it is follow up on our more than human relatives resolution, which is enacted tribal law to protect the environment. But I would like to say that above all else, our number one goal as leaders of our tribe should be to preserve our natural resources for our future generations. In 7 generations, none of us will be here anymore. But the decisions we make today will have a direct effect on our lineage. So this is hopefully just another step in a long line of legislation to come that will protect our more than human relatives and protect the environment for many generations to come.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Aaron?
So I'm 1 year away from being an elder, so I'm going to say, you damn liberals. Boy, have we come a long way. I cannot imagine bringing this forward even 5 years ago. So thank you guys for collaborating on it. Nobody asked me to go sponsor, but I would have. And when we're talking about protecting our non-human relatives, and later on when we get to protecting our human relatives, just keep in mind our health and our wellness and doing the right thing on behalf of ourselves, our human selves. Styrofoam is part of the climate change, and everybody's going to be flocking to Michigan to live because it'll be temperate, and they're going to be trying to get our water, so we got to get ready to fight them on that. But I'm just really proud of our current board for seeing the value of protecting our non-human relatives and our human relatives. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Isaac?
This is long overdue, but I think, we should take it one step further. We do very little to recycle throughout the tribe. I mean, do you see a recycle bin close by? It's over where?
We got them at the casino.
Where?
By the garbage, it's on the floor.
It's by the garbage, eh? Well, that's a good spot for it, eh? So anyways, we don't have any, I don't think, I've been in a lot of the buildings throughout the years for 24, 25 years. I did all the communication stuff, so I know all the buildings, and we can pass this, which I support, but we need to take it one step further and truly recycle. I recycle at home, and you actually save a lot of money because the garbage is a lot less that you have to pay for when you recycle, and I think it would be a cost savings for us also.
Okay, thank you, Isaac. Anyone else?
Just a second, Austin.
Yep.
I think since I've been on the board, I thought, I don't know, other people that Aaron, you were on too, didn't we pass a resolution for recycling? Isn't there something, maybe we didn't codify it?
Austin.
100% right.
Kim?
Yeah, we do have recycling boxes at the casino because that was the first thing they did after we passed the resolution for the plastics.
Yeah, so this would obviously be different because you can't recycle styrofoam. But yeah, we should obviously do a better job of recycling as well. Anyone else? So I'll speak really quickly. So we always talk about the 7 generations. Obviously, we're not going to be here hundreds of years from now, but every single styrofoam cup that we've ever drank from in our lifetime will be here. I pulled up an article, and it's estimating that it takes about 500 years to decompose. I mean, that's a really long time. I mean, we can purchase paper products, which would rot in the summer, you know what I mean? And they're pretty similar in price. My office hasn't ordered styrofoam since I've been up there, you know? So, yeah, completely supportive of this. Let's do a roll call. Well, we don't need to do a roll call vote on this. Let's do it like this. Those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right, those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Awesome. We're not buying styrofoam anymore, so let's switch it up. So Christine, if we can do some sort of memo to any staff that's responsible for hiring, or not hiring, but purchasing office supplies, get that out there. No longer allowed. Okay, very good. All right, next resolution is purchase Narcan dispensers for each unit.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors for the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorizes the Tribal Health Center to purchase Narcan dispensers for each unit for a total up to $100,000. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes the CFO to make an internal budget modification utilizing the opioid settlement funds. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes the Tribal Health Center to place these Narcan dispensers in each unit at locations determined to be most beneficial to members.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Larry. Do any of the sponsors want to speak first? Kim, do you want to speak first on this? Hampton?
Sure.
Okay.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I've gotten money from the opioid settlement funds in attempts to, I guess, prevent substance use for treatment. So I feel it's important for Narcan dispensers to be in each of our units. That way, Narcan is able to be accessible. I think it's very normal for people, individuals, to even have Narcan in their cars, in their homes. We obviously know we have a huge substance abuse issue within Indian country, and I think this is well overdue.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Aaron?
Just that a couple of years ago, we probably wouldn't have voted for this. So we are coming a long way and we're changing. You know, a lot of our people, a lot of our family members are using opiates, fentanyl, and Narcan can be, if you carry it with you or if we have access, the life that you save may be a family member. And so just, you know, be grateful. I'm grateful that the board is at a different place today than they've ever been, that we are not judging, but that we're looking to save lives.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Narcan is what's used to treat someone that's overdosing from opiates. So we want to get as much of it out in the community as possible. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of times when someone's overdosing, since there's so much fentanyl on the streets, a lot of times you need 2 Narcans. And then when someone's given that, they need to go to the ER even if it looks like they're fine, because the shelf life on Narcan is much shorter than something like fentanyl. So they could re-enter that overdose when that medication wears off. Kim?
Yeah, I just want to, I guess, echo what Aaron said. It could potentially save a relative's life. I will say I lost my first cousin, who was just like a brother, to fentanyl in 2018. And if there would have been Narcan dispensers, he'd probably still be here.
Yeah, it's really sad. Kim?
I just want to say that if this would have been available years ago, the board would have voted for it. I can't imagine someone saying no. So.
Anyone else? Okay, then let's vote. Do the amount. We got to do roll call. So roll call, please.
Isaac?
Yes.
Kimberly Lee?
Yes.
Sean? Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Rob?
Yeah.
Larry?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Good job, everyone. Next resolution is Kuwait and Casino Smoking Ban Implementation Plan.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Sioux City Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby establishes that Kuwait casino gaming spaces and all public spaces and casino properties shall be smoke-free. Be it further resolved that a designated smoking room shall be established for casino featuring some smoke. Said room shall not be a gaming space. Be it further resolved that the Kuwait Casino Executive shall present to the Sioux Tribe Board of Directors and the Kuwait Gaming Authority an implementation plan to happen within 30 days of enactment of this resolution.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Tyler, support by Isaac. So, which of the sponsors want to speak first to explain this?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, and then we'll do board discussion, which will start with Bridget.
So I'm actually really glad that this is on the agenda tonight. I really hope it passes. I had actually reached out to Lana, our board admin, to implement a pilot at the Kuwait and Christmas here, knowing that there's a lot of complaints and we're the furthest outlying area, but we're probably also the most progressive. And you know, it's long overdue, but Aaron had beat me to the punch, and he had put a resolution on for all of the casinos, which I am also supportive of. So, like I said earlier, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. Let's just get it done. I looked it up earlier. There are now actually 4 tribes in Michigan that are smoke-free, and I think we would be number 5. And Hannahville is one of our biggest competitors. It appears that they are smoke-free still.
I was just there, and it smells great. So, Bridget, then Isaac.
You know, I agree with this. I know we talked about it, and I know at D2E last year, a lot of the number 1 revenue stream casinos were smoke-free. So I think that it's time we take a look at it. But I guess my only problem with this resolution is saying that we shall provide a designated smoking room, and I don't know if I even agree with that. You know, I think this is part of the reason too, not only with people breathing it, but it's the destruction that it does on, you know, cloth, stools, carpeting, toilets, whatever, it's the destruction as well. But to say that we shall provide a room for them, I don't know if I even agree with that part. So do we have to actually have that part in there, or can we let the casino come back with something? Do we have to have it not a place for them to smoke?
So I can answer that. So the answer is no. However, we're going to have to vote on this again in the Gaming Authority meeting. So we can wait and see what the casino is going to do, and we can decide then if it includes smoking. And if we don't want it, we can amend that to take away smoking. We can ask casino staff to present 2 separate plans, one with a smoking option, you know, in a small isolated area, and the other plan could be with no smoking altogether. Or we could motion to amend it right now to exclude that, whatever you guys want to do. So that would be Bridget's turn. So Isaac?
Yeah, so secondhand smoke contributes to about 60,000 deaths annually. So I think this is long overdue that we have to get the smoke-free environment for our members and our citizens and our employees, right? We have waited way too long. It seems like we always cater to everybody else and not our employees. I think it's time to cater to our employees.
Okay, Aaron?
So this is going to shock people because Bridget and I are on the same wavelength tonight. That either means one of us is going to die or one's going to win the lottery. I'm going to make a motion to strike the second to the last resolve section to take that designated smoking room shall be established out of the resolution.
Okay,
Support.
all right, hold on.
Oh, come on, I was gonna support it.
That's who I heard.
My birthday, come on.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bridget. Nice. All right, so We have a motion to amend made by Aaron to take out smoking completely for all 5 properties. It's supported by Bridget. So we'll have a discussion right now just based on that, on the amendment. Any discussion? Okay, roll call the amendment. Yes is to take away smoking completely.
I had my hand up.
I'll call on you.
Tyler,
On the amendment.
You have a question on the amendment? Okay.
Yeah, I just want a little clarification because, is this just striking it from the gaming floors and then will there be room to have a discussion with employees that smoke about having a break room for them? I don't want to take away the employees smoking break room.
I can,
Okay, so Al's not here right now. Tyler, if you want to speak on that,
So
since you're
I'll-
the one that made the motion?
yeah, so
Or Aaron did, sorry.
Yeah, so all this would do by Aaron removing that, from my viewpoint, is that the Kuwait Gaming Authority, or that the Kuwait Casino executives shall present the gaming authority within 30 days plan to enact this resolution. So this just removes the shall, the requirement of putting a space in there, and they'll probably come to us with a couple of different plans. That's how I'm reading this, by removing that section.
And Rob, to add that, I would say that each property is different, and certain properties may not be able to accommodate a break room for smokers and non-smokers. So,
Yeah, I know that, but in the two, there is, a break room upstairs that is specifically for smokers. And, you know, that's their choice as they're adults.
Point of information, this only said casino patrons, though.
Yes,
Right,
that's what I was
why-
gonna point out.
That's why I'm getting the clarification on it, because are we leaving room for our employees who choose to smoke to do so in their break room because we have below zero weather for months out of the year, and I just don't want to take it away from them. I want to protect everyone else and say that, you know, every employee has the right to work in a facility that is smoke-free, but for those who choose to smoke, I want to make sure they have a place to do it.
well, I mean, the question would be, is it a smoke-free facility at that point if you have a lot of people work? I mean, I'm indifferent about it. I think people can walk outside or walk out to their car. So-
It's a small room and they work hard, and if they want to smoke in warm sites, they should be able.
Okay, so what I would recommend doing is talking to the casino staff when they present their plan. You know, we can talk with them about it preliminary on Tuesday, just to let them know the kind of things that we're looking for in this plan. So that's where I would recommend doing it, Rob. I mean, you're asking a very specific question. The casino staff isn't here right now, and they're just gonna be reporting on the plan. So, we good to roll call on the amendment, guys?
Oh, wait, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
To very, actually Bridget and I were really on the same wavelength. To very specifically answer Rob's question, the motion to amend is to strike the part that relates to casino patrons.
Okay,
So if there's a further conversation about a smoke room for the team members, you know, because Rob's kind of right, you know, it's very cold weather, and our team members cannot leave with their uniforms to go smoke outside. That's policy. So anyway, the motion to amend is just to strike the second to the last, resolved, that relates to casino patrons. It doesn't say anything about team.
okay, I appreciate the clarification. We ready to roll call on that, guys? Okay, so we're just gonna roll call on the amendment.
okay. Tyler,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
Okay, so the amendment carries. Now we're back on the main motion, which has obviously been amended. Any further discussion? Aaron?
Nope.
Okay. Anyone? Okay, roll call, please.
Michael,
Yes.
Kimberly Lee,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Motion carries. Good news and about time. Yep. All right, let's move on to the next resolution, which is approving service agreement with Serve Ice Refrigeration. And this is the resolution that was added tonight.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Sioux City Tribe of Chippewa Indians Board of Directors hereby approves a service agreement with Service Refrigeration negotiated by the Recreation Facility Manager for Phase 3 services. Be it further resolved, the Board of Directors hereby authorizes the chairman or his designee to execute any and all documents for the Serve Ice Refrigeration Agreement.
Okay, motion by Kim Gravel, support by Isaac. Tammy, could you cover this one for us, please?
Good evening, Tammy Graham, Recreation Facility Manager. We've been working with Service Refrigeration on various phases of detecting a leak in the subfloor system of our Olympic rink. We just completed the second phase, which identified the leak between the compressor room and the outside area of the Olympic rink. If this repair is not addressed, it will eventually lead to failure on the Olympic floor, which could result in cracking, heaving, and resulting in additional repairs or replacement of the Olympic ice sheet. The funds are available in the budget from another project that was cosmetic in nature that we will delay in order to complete this repair. We are seeking approval for the service agreement with Service Refrigeration to take care of the repair.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Any discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll do roll call based on the price.
Rob? Rob?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Ken, no, yes, thank you. Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Kimberly Lee?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sean?
Yeah.
Aaron? Larry?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Excellent. So that concludes all. You're welcome. That concludes all the resolutions that we have, so we'll move on to new business. Under committee appointments, there's 2 requests. Any objections to handling them together? Okay, hearing no objection, we'll handle them together. I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint Mary Moriarty to the Unit 2 Elder Committee for a 4-year term expiring September 28. And I'd like to also entertain within that same motion appointing Rosemary Larson as a regular member for a 4-year term expiring September 2028 on the Unit 5 Elder Committee, Marquette. Okay, so motion by Tyler, support by Isaac. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Any more board concerns? All right, closing comments. I want to thank you guys for the good meeting that we had. And to summarize, we accomplished a lot of things today. But number one, we're going to be getting a lot more Narcan into our 7-county service area, which is something to be really proud of. We're banning Styrofoam, which takes hundreds of years in our landfills to rot. And then also, most importantly, we're going to be banning smoking in our property. So we can't smoke them there. So good job, everybody. Appreciate it. All right. Any objection to the meeting ending?
Oh, wait,
No.
I turned in a board concern.
Yeah. Okay. You have. Oh, you guys have board concerns. Okay. Bridget, then Kim Lee.
I just wondered which one of you guys is singing me happy birthday tonight?
Happy birthday.
I heard Larry can sing really good.
Happy birthday to
To you. Happy birthday, dear Bridget. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Bridget. Yes. Go ahead, Kim.
Thanks, guys.
I guess to add to that, Win, I would like to make sure, and maybe you guys already have this in the works, that that we celebrate the Walden's accomplishments. That is huge, and so I'd like to see that in the newspaper. Maybe have a story done on it with some interviews, because it's not just, of course, there when it's a win for all Native Americans and our United States warriors. So it's big stuff. So that's all.
Absolutely. Tyler?
So I do have one concern that I'll bring up because Cindy was here earlier, but I think she had to leave early. Marquette Community Center is in process of being redeveloped, but it is going to be about $600,000 to $800,000 short for a full remodel. That would be like the entire site plan. So the interior will be mostly remodeled, but the parking lot, the backyard, that all still needs to be done. So I would ask the board to support some additional funds in the future. I know that there are some additional ARPA funds. This is a shovel-ready project. We know exactly how much it's going to cost. And the project is moving forward, but it would be nice to just see this through to completion without having to throw this down the road for years and years and years.
So speaking about that, Isaac, so speaking about that, all these unit, community, and fitness projects, we're all gonna need to work together on them, right? So Unit 5 got $4 million, which was $4 million less than every single unit, right? So let's work together, get these done. I don't care if it's Unit 5, Unit 2, let's just finish them up, guys. So appreciate it. Any objection to meeting adjourning? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.